Here's everything we ate in Paris over 5 days and at 14 different restaurants. We'll show you the good, the iconic, the great, and even the not so great meals we had in this famous city. First up is Pita Place. It's got a lovely blue shop front and is located right in the heart of Montmartre. We got the sabich plate, which came with roasted eggplant, sweet potatoes, and everything else you'd expect from a Middle Eastern plate like this. We really enjoyed this nourishing, tasty meal after a long flight. This was a great stop before the trek up to the Sacré-Cœur. Next up is Cloud Cakes. This place is well known for its croissant and pastries. We got the plain croissant. It was nice, but it felt a bit too healthy. We were expecting a best in the world 9 out of 10 croissant, but what we got was a solid 7 out of 10 one. The chocolate eclair was tasty. The chocolate cream was great, but the base was a bit chewy, which felt strange. We ended the day with dinner at Breathe. This place specializes in Pan-Asian small plates. We loved the vibe inside. They had retained parts of the old terrazzo flooring, but added a modern twist to the overall vibe. The seitan with rice was excellent. Seitan has existed for thousands of years, and this was a reminder that when it's done right, it can be just as good as the cutting-edge mock meats. The bao was just okay. Honestly, this single bao for €9 felt incredibly overpriced. The skewered mushroom was the worst of the lot. The flavors were just surface deep, and the teriyaki sauce was too flat and lacked complexity. For a tapas joint, it's got to be better. On our second day, we got lunch at Le Potager du Charlotte. It was highly recommended by the vegan tourist map, so we had to give it a try. It was a cold day and the cozy interiors felt really nice. The waiter was super friendly and she could see that we were very confused, so she explained the entire menu to us. The grilled asparagus was very tasty. Vidhi really enjoyed it, but she felt the portion size was quite small. The sesame marinated tofu looked stunning. The soy and lime cream was very refreshing. Overall, we enjoyed our meal here, but we did feel like the prices were a bit too high. For dessert, we went to Ara. Ara is a cute little shop that makes award-winning chocolate. Valentina was so sweet and helped us decide what we should order. We got 100 grams of the mixed truffles and ganaches. We really enjoyed the coconut one and the hazelnut one, but our favorite was the olive one. Yes, olive. It added this deep savory quality to the chocolate without being overwhelming. It was surprising and delightful. We took the chocolates with us to the famous Luxembourg Gardens. It had been a cold and overcast day, but we got lucky and the clouds parted ways. We don't usually like manicured gardens, but this place was really nice. For dinner, we went to the Naked Burger. This place felt surreal. It has a distinct decor which was completely at odds with everything else in Paris. The burger was good. It really was a naked burger in that it didn't come with tomatoes or onions or even lettuce. It was just the buns, the meat, the bacon, the cheese and pickles. We dug it. Next day we got lunch at Les Tontons. This was our favorite meal in Paris. The guys there were so easy to talk to and the place had a really chilled out vibe. The burgers were just so damn good. I'm not a big fan of funky burgers, but the kimchi one, oh man. It was everything you want from a burger. The basics were rock solid and the kimchi took it to the next level. The chicken burger was really nice too. It had a peanut buttery sauce with some fresh cheese and loads of caramelized onions. This one became a little too sweet for me, but Vidhi really enjoyed it. We would highly recommend this place. After this fantastic meal, we went to the Eiffel Tower. We found a quiet spot and it was a lovely day. It was Vidhi's first sighting of this iconic structure, which made it quite special. She did a video call with her mom, who was even more excited than we were. Her excitement made us appreciate the moment even more. For dinner, we went to Mopa, a place known for its Berliner kebab. The kebab came in an oddly sized bread, and it took me a while to figure out how to hold it. But maybe that's just a me problem. The mock meat was tasty, but the wrap lacked any sort of hot sauce or yogurt sauce. These are signature elements of this wrap, and without it, it just tasted very flat. The coke was cold, the cheese hadn't melted, the mushrooms weren't salted, and the spinach was cooked till the point that it gets stuck in your teeth. We packed a cheesecake and a cookie for later. Vidhi really enjoyed it. Next morning, we stopped at this gorgeous patisserie. Veget is exactly what comes to mind when you dream of an eatery in Paris. Just look at all the options. The coffee was nice. The chocolate and vanilla bread was very nice. And the pear and almond pastry was the best of the lot. After our guided walk of Montmartre, we couldn't find space at the two eateries that were close by. We finally made it to Sangeetha Vegetarian restaurant. We've had some amazing Indian meals outside India recently. But this was not one of them. The rava dosa batter was all wrong. It didn't have jeera or curry patta, and it wasn't crispy. These are all the things that make the semolina batter special compared to the regular dosa batter. The gobi 65 was nothing like gobi 65. But it was hot and fresh, so we did still enjoy it. All of the food was under-seasoned and lacked salt. But Vidhi and I always carry a spice mix on our travels. It's called Maggi, and it's got this magical flavor that makes everything better. Just look at our friends before and after. We really should be getting paid for this. Next up is Maoz. This takeaway meal from a fast food joint turned into one of our favorite meals in Paris. The falafels were hot and fresh, the sauces were all very tasty, and you get to make the salad bowl yourself, which is such a great idea. We packed it to go and had a lovely little picnic by the Seine. We were joined by our friends Monish and Kinjal, and this made it a really special memory. After this meal, we went for a night cruise on the Seine. As the sun sets and the lights come on, the city looks stunning. The inky blue sky and the warm lights contrast each other so beautifully. It's a real pleasure for the eyes. We ended the evening with another great meal at Soya. This place has a warm and intimate vibe. The caprese plate comes with these big slabs of cheese. It's one of the nicest vegan cheeses we have ever had, and the pesto was nice as well. The lasagna was really tasty, and so was the meze platter. The dessert was outstanding. It was a dessert bowl layered with chocolate, vanilla, and hazelnut cream. There was some sort of cookie crumble that added a lovely bite and texture. Like most things in Paris, this place was very easy on the eyes. There was a real buzz of excitement here. The lentil plate was really nice. The lentils were tasty. The layered, creamy potatoes were delicious. Honestly, everything on the plate was nice. The seitan stew was just alright. The seitan bits were too chunky, and there are a couple of problems when you use seitan this way. The parts at the center become quite dry, and even if you go hard with the herbs, it's not possible to mask the wheaty seitan taste. We skipped dessert because there was a branch of the famous Land and Monkeys just around the corner. Just look at all the options. This is exactly what you dream of when you think of a Parisian eatery. But there's good news and bad news. We'll start with the good news. We love the sweet stuff. The chocolate tart was dreamy. It's what I think of when I think of a Parisian dessert. Delicate, exquisite, and full of substance. The pistachio and apricot tart was phenomenal as well. A brand new combination for us, and we loved it. We packed a marble cake and it was really good. And now for the bad news. The savory stuff was just totally underwhelming. The quiche was the best of the lot and it was just okay. Well, at least it was warm. The Coke was a bit of a disaster. It was cold and we couldn't even figure out what the filling was. The taste was odd, a little savory and a little sweet in quite a disorienting way. The focaccia was not fresh. I suppose this is the problem with baked goods that need to sit on these shelves for hours and hours. At some level, it was our mistake for ordering so much of it. And maybe it would have been better in the morning. But there are clearly some issues here. So, does Paris live up to the hype? Not really. We've traveled all over the world and this was the first time that we've had so many problems. We believe that these are the big reasons why this happened and we hope it helps you plan better for your trip to Paris. There's an impossible amount of hype around Paris. Paris syndrome is a real thing and is described on Wikipedia as a sense of extreme disappointment exhibited by some people when visiting Paris who feel that the city was not what they had expected. One of the possible explanations is that the overly positive image of Paris in popular culture and social media leads to an eventual feeling of extreme disappointment. I had felt something very similar on my first trip to Paris, and honestly, I enjoyed the city much more this time. We made the mistake of not always making reservations. The demand for a table in Paris is sky high throughout the year, so we strongly suggest making reservations if you can. There is a big difference between how the food looks and what it tastes like. The food usually looked incredible, but it tasted quite flat and boring. This was a big surprise. We have never really had this problem in European cities like Barcelona, Lisbon, Budapest, or even Frankfurt. Paris is one of the most expensive cities in the world. This plays a part in how you judge the food. When you are paying top euro, the expectation rises, and many times the meal just does not live up to those expectations. This harsh criticism somehow feels like a reason to be optimistic. If you think about it, we still had plenty of good meals. And we had so many options that it actually got very confusing. Just look at this map of vegan restaurants in Paris. It would take you years to really get to the truth of how good or how bad the vegan scene is here. It's almost a sign of just how exciting the vegan scene has become that we get to complain about a trip like this. So if you're planning a trip to Paris, there's still a lot of reasons to be very excited.